What's going on, everyone? Gelman with the Wellthy Stocks, back with another Palantir update video, ticker symbol PLTR, where we take a look at how Palantir stock traded this past week, news that we've seen recently with Palantir, key levels of support and resistance we are looking at, and what that means for the stock moving forward. I'll also share a trade that I took on, my thesis behind the trade and why I took it on, as well as what my plans are with Palantir moving into the future. So real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to hit that like button down below, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and comment down below what your thoughts on Palantir are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. So let me hit record and we will get right into it. So right out the bat, right, another red day for Palantir, down $1.91, which is a 7% red day. We talked about this a little before, right, but key level to kind of stay above for us was that 55 EMA, which we broke below. We closed below it yesterday as well, and as you could see, we are now down here. We set a new low in the mid 24s, but we are here in the 25s currently. This is something that we expected with the lockup expiration happening, right? So let's take a look at what that means. So right here, what is the lockup, right? What happened was when Palantir went public, which is at the end of September, through a direct listing, what they did was insiders that held shares were only allowed to cash in on 20% of the shares, right? With the other 80% coming after Palantir's fourth quarter results, which we saw earlier this week. What that means, though, is 1.8 billion shares became available for sale this week, which is about 80% of outstanding shares, right? So that's crazy, right? When you take a look at the 3-month trading volume of 74 million shares, you're talking about 1.8 billion become available. That's something that worries investors, right? What happens when all these people that weren't able to sell before try to sell now? That could really push the stock price down. That's one reason that, I think a lot of investors were worried. But that being said, right, it's still really, really held up nicely from the levels that we've seen back in September. The other thing is, look, Cathie Wood's ARK Invest, as I shared a couple days ago, bought I think, what was it, 1.5 million shares. Adit Ventures, PHX Financial, they also came out and said that they will hold Palantir shares, right? So that's great news for us, right? These big institutional investors, including Cathie Wood's ARK Invest, right, which, as you know, has been crazy this past year, and the returns that they've provided their ETF holders, if you will. So the fact that they're holding is great news for Palantir as well. Now let's take a look at, and the other reason why this sell-off is happening is because of earnings, right? As you guys know, they beat revenues, as I covered in the video from 2 days ago, but did not beat EPS. They actually had a surprise loss. They were expecting 2 cents in profits, in adjusted profits, and they had, I think, 10 cents of a loss, right? So that's something that we don't really like seeing. That's what we saw, but we don't obviously like seeing them post a loss, and the guidance was a bit lower than kind of the growth they had expected in the past year. So with that being said, let's take a look at how the stock traded. Let's take a look at future levels of support, future levels of resistance, and then let's talk about a trade that I took on. I'll share my kind of thesis behind it as well. So let's get right into it. So yesterday, you guys remember we ended here right above our 2680s level, and in that after hours we were hitting up against it. Well, in the pre-market today, we broke that and came down to, let me get rid of the EMAs. We came down to our next level in the mid 25s, and right out of the gate, right, we were below that level, pushed above it, but came right back below it. And as you could see, for the rest of the day, Palantir was having a hard time being able to break into that level, right? Hit, rejected, came down. This time just made it to VWAP, rejected, pushed all the way up, rejected, and pretty much got rejected throughout the course of the day. So that wasn't fun to see. Some things that I liked was the fact, not necessarily like during the day, but like right now, is the fact that we are pushing up in the after hours. We were up 2.5%, so down 7% on the day, but making up almost 2.5% of that in the after hours. Things that I don't like, obviously, was this fall and the fact that we were below VWAP for most of the day, and the fact that we were hitting up against this 2539 level but not able to break through. The good news, though, is this 2539 level is acting as pretty good resistance, or was acting as pretty good resistance. So I'm hoping that now we are above it. It acts as a good level of support for us. So now let's take a look at future levels of support, future levels of resistance, and we'll see what we can see. So we are actually selling off quite a lot. Not gonna lie, I thought it was gonna be a little bit less of a sell-off, but I was talking to one of you guys down in the comment section and we talked about potentially, going to the 25s. Well, here we are. If you guys have been with me for a while, you know that we were catching this breakout that took us from the 25s all the way to 35s and then followed by 45s. And then we saw a little bit of a sell-off. Then we saw a little bit of a run into earnings, followed by this sell-off because of the whole thing with them not meeting earnings and the guidance being reduced, and B, with the lockup expiration happening, what we were hoping to see. So what is next for Palantir? Well, as I mentioned in my previous videos, it could be doing a little bit of a inverse head and shoulders, assuming this is the head and we start to turn around here and head up, and then we make the next shoulder and then see a little bit of a breakout. Again, that's not guaranteed. We could also see a little bit of a bounce coming here. That being said, both of those are kind of, we're gonna have to see how that goes, especially with the inverse head and shoulder. That could totally not be happening. So now let's take a look at, future levels of support, future levels of resistance, right, for the stock. So we're down here, which we are, again, below the 55 EMA, and we are not too far from the 89 EMA. The 89 EMA is about $1.70 away in the 23.30s. So if we were to go down again, since we are now above the 25.40s level, that level that was acting as a little bit of a resistance, assuming we can hold that and open higher than that level tomorrow, that level should be a good level of support for us. So if we go down, we should see some bounces happening at that level. If we break that, next level of support is today's low at 24.50, and then we've got one at 24.08, then we've got one in the mid 23s, which was also the 89 EMA, right? So again, assuming we open above this 25 level, that 25 level, the low 25s will be a good level of support, followed by 24.50, 24.08, and then the mid 23s. That's what I'm looking at if we keep going down. But if we start to finally push up, as I'm hoping for, assuming we open above the 25s, right, the high of today, which is 26.31, first level that I'm looking at, then I'm looking at 26.80. But the key here, you guys, is the 55 EMA, which is this 27.42 level. We need to capture that to kind of figure out, okay, we're between the 55 and the 89. Do we go down to the 89 and validate that level of support, or do we push above, get above the 50 or 55, and then use that as a level that we bounce from, right? I'm hoping for the latter, but we'll see in the next couple of days. That's why this 55 level in the 27.40s is really, really crucial. So again, hoping for a push towards that, and then 28.05 before the mid 29. So again, on the upside, assuming we open above this 25 level that we have here, the 25.40s, watching for a push to high of today, 26.30s, then 26.82, and the key here is the 55 EMA in the 27.40s. That's what I'm looking at on the ride up. Now, what trade did I take on? So I really like this pullback because it allows me to get into more of Palantir. You guys remember I was holding my leap. Well, I added a leap today, and let me bring in my Tastyworks to kind of to show you guys what exactly I'm talking about. So what I did was, and I really like using Tastyworks for looking at options, even if I'm not buying it in Tastyworks, even though I do have a Tastyworks account. Webull is free if you guys want to use that. My referral link is in the description below. Whatever you use, right? The reason I like Tastyworks is because it lays the options charts out in a really easy to read format. It gives me all the details I need really, really quickly. Not an advertisement for Tastyworks. I don't even have a referral link for Tastyworks, but I'm just saying, if you want to, you could download it and kind of have this if you're wondering what I'm looking at. So let's take a look here. And the one I bought, you guys, is this $20 call going out to January 2023. Now, this is expensive. This is let's see, the bid-ask spread is $14.15 and $15.20. The mid price would be $14.70, which means $1,470. The reason I did this instead of buying straight shares is because, well, first of all, it's cheaper, okay? And what I mean by that is my strategy is I'm gonna play covered calls to cover the cost of my options. If I were to buy 100 options at the price that Palantir closed today, I'd need $2,517, right? $25.17 times 100 shares, so I'd need $2,500 to buy 100 shares, because that's what I need to sell covered calls. By buying this leap, right, which is still a call option, but it's going out to January 2023. And before I keep going, I just want to say I'm not a financial advisor. This is what I'm doing. Only do this if you feel comfortable. If you choose to do this at all, I could totally lose all my money, and that's something that I understand when I'm going into this trade. With that being said, now let's take a look, okay? So I'm buying this 20 call, right? And it has a pretty high delta, which means that it follows the stock pretty well. I'm not gonna sell it, I'm gonna buy it, right? So for every dollar that Palantir moves up, I gain 80 cents on this options contract. That's pretty good, right? It's pretty highly correlated. And then that's what I did, right? So I bought it at a worse price. So I think I paid maybe $1,480, so $1,480. It's $15 cheaper right now. That's okay. I don't care because I'm going out to 2023. So essentially what I'm looking for here is, if I go back to my chart, if Palantir can, in the next 2 years, get back to $45, okay? In the next 2 years, again. And I'm not talking about any time value, right? Because right now you have to understand that this option is worth $1,465, but really Palantir is only $5 above the call option, right? So there's $517 worth of intrinsic value and $1,000 worth of time value. If you don't understand that, that's totally cool, but I want to mention that, right? I'm talking pure intrinsic value. If it just goes back to this 45 level in the next 2 years, right? January 2023, technically a year and 11 months, this option will be worth $25, which is already $1,000 more on my $1,480 investment. That's one, okay? That's the pure gain that I'm hoping to get out of this option. Realistically, I see Palantir hitting 45 again sometime even this year, if not, a lot sooner by the end of this year. I see Palantir going back to that level. But I'm talking pure conservative. If it can hit that over the next 2 years, I'm set. The other thing, the real reason why I really want a leap, right, instead of buying 50 shares, by the way, I do own shares as well in Palantir, but I don't want to add shares for this reason. I could go out to March, and now because I own a leap, I can sell a covered call, a synthetic covered call, also known as a poor man's covered call. And now you can sell it at whatever level you feel comfortable. Now, it's at 25 right now, so you could sell 40 if you want to absolutely hold on to your Palantir leap and you don't think it's going to hit 40 by next month. Sell a $40 call. You get 89 credit, which means you get 89 bucks. You get to keep this if Palantir doesn't go to 40. So if you think by next March, not next March, by next month, if it's not going to go to 40, sell this. If it doesn't go to 40, you get to keep 89 bucks. If it goes to 40, you get to keep 89 bucks. If it goes above 40, you're still promising to sell your Palantir leap for 40. So you have to call the shares for 20, sell it for 40. Now, you could go much more aggressive. So for this, you get 89 bucks. Now, if you go a little bit more aggressive, like maybe you don't think it's going to reach 35, you get $133 in credit. There's a 16% chance, according to this, that Palantir is at 35 next month. Obviously, these change as Palantir moves, and Palantir does move around a lot. So if you really want to hold it, maybe go with something more conservative. Like I'm probably going to do like 38, right? My goal is to get $1. I have 2 years on my options, right? I have 2 years on my leaps. If in February I sell this 38 leap excuse me, this 38 covered call for $1, I get $1, which means I get $100. My goal, you guys, is to make my leap free. Meaning that every month I'm gonna sell $1 worth of credit. So today, right, going out to March 19th, I sell this 38 call, I get $104. In March, I sell an April call, get $104 or $100. Do the same thing in April. After, you know, my cost, if you guys remember on that call, was $14.80, which is $1,480. In 15 months, if I can keep doing this, technically my cost on the long option is going to be zero, right? That's the way I'm looking at it. I'm not, I mean, you can look at it two ways. A is you're making income $100 every month off of your $1,480 investment. That's the first way to look at it. Or the second way to look at it is really you are, you know, lowering the cost of your leap. So in 15 months, if you can recover the cost of your leap, you still have, again, this is all just hypothetical. I'm making it easy. It's not this simple, but I want to kind of paint a picture here. So in 15 months, the cost of your leap could potentially be zero. You still have 8 months with your leap, so you could keep doing this covered call strategy and potentially make $500, $600, $700, $800, assuming you can get $1 every month. And your leap is still going to be worth hopefully a whole lot more because Palantir is going to go up in value. So your $1,480 leap might be like $2,000. My leap, this 20 leap that I added today, I actually had one before as well, and I added a second one today. That one went as high as $2,400. So even if we go to that all-time high and my leap goes to $2,400, $2,500, I will have made $1,000 from holding that, right? I will have made whatever this dollar is, $100 over the next 23 months. So that's $2,300, and that $1,000 that I'm making from that. So that's what I wanted to kind of show you guys. Is I know a lot of you guys either hold Palantir shares or are looking for a play to put on Palantir, and I wanted to share what I'm doing because I didn't know how to do covered calls for a really long time. And look, I just painted for you a very, very ideal hypothetical, right? What could happen is a couple things. Palantir can run to $50 and I still have to sell at 40. I'm still going to be profitable, don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to be as profitable as I like. And my shares could, my leap could get called away, and I can't do this for 24 months. The goal here though is to calculate and make sure that you're always going to be profitable. Like if I were to sell this 38 covered call today for March 2021, I need to make sure that, hey, if Palantir does end up running and it goes to higher than 38 and I get my leap call taken away, am I still profitable? Which in this case I would be. And so it could get taken away at any point. Palantir could run, which could cause your covered call to be breached, right? And again, you get those taken away. Palantir could crash, in which case your leap wouldn't be worth a whole lot and your covered calls premium would go down. But it's just something that I'm personally looking to do, and I thought I'd share with you guys if you guys are interested in wanting to know. I know that was a really, really long example, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop it down in the comment section and I'd love to help you guys out. But I just definitely thought that I'd share that, since I think that it could be a good way to kind of, if you were looking to do it, another different way to do it, or if you weren't, here's a strategy that you could do. Again, up to you guys, not a financial advisor. So make sure you understand what you're doing before you do it. That's all I had for you guys. I know that was a longer video than usual, but hey, I took a new trade and I wanted to share that with you guys and why I took it. So hope some of you guys at least found that helpful. If you did, let me know down in the comment section. I love hearing from you guys. And that's all I had for today. Hopefully Palantir starts to go up. We did get a price increase with Goldman Sachs yesterday, so that's exciting news as well. And once this lockup expiration stuff clears, we start to push up again. That's all I had for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to my channel, comment down below what your thoughts on Palantir are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. Let's remember to be a bit better every single day, and until next time.